Hi, I'm Ramona Walls at CyVerse at the University of Arizona, and I'm going to talk to you today about what you can do with CyVerse cyber infrastructure. This talk is tailored to the participants of the Microbial FuturePhy workshop happening in Chicago in 2016, but it may be helpful to others who happen to come across it. I'll start with an overview of what CyVerse is, for those who might not be familiar with it. Then I'll talk about using CyVerse to manage your data, including using our data store and our data commons. Then I'll discuss analyzing your data within CyVerse, focusing on two of our popular platforms, the Discovery Environment and Atmosphere. The final slide provides some links that I hope will be helpful. The CyVerse mission is to design, develop, deploy, and expand a national cyber infrastructure for life science research and to train scientists. We currently have over 30,000 users, several petabytes of data stored, and there have been hundreds of publications, courses, and discoveries that have been produced using CyVerse infrastructure. CyVerse infrastructure is fairly vast, however, and it can be challenging for new people coming in to understand what CyVerse is and what they can do with it. We like to think of CyVerse as the Lego blocks of cyber infrastructure. There are many different components to CyVerse, and if a solution that you're looking for isn't available off the shelf, you can craft your own by putting those components together in a way that best suits you. You can even bring in your own components or applications. This architectural slide is what we like to call our layer cake or product stack, and it shows how CyVerse is built on a foundational layer of hardware resources such as cloud systems, high-performance computing, databases, and storage. We reuse a number of established cyber infrastructure components, such as iRODS, OpenStack, and Exceed, to tie those hardware resources together and make them work in a way that's never really been done before. Those lower-level services are accessed by a set of foundational services, including our data store, science APIs, authorization, and Elasticsearch for searching. At the top of the stack come the products or the user interfaces. This is where most new users are likely to interact with CyVerse through tools such as the Discovery Environment, DNA Subway, or BISC image analysis, because these products or user-facing products are really the easiest to use. However, as people's bioinformatics requirements and skills grow, they're more likely to access lower-level components of CyVerse infrastructure because of the greater flexibility provided by those components. Managing your data is one of the key activities that people do within the CyVerse cyber infrastructure. As you can see here, the data store is really at the center of everything that we do. All of our different products interact with the data store. There are multiple ways that you can access your data within the data store, including the Discovery Environment, which is a web-based platform, CyberDuck, which is a desktop tool, and iCommands, which is a command line tool. New users that register for CyVerse are automatically granted a 100 gigabyte data allocation, and any data that you upload into CyVerse using any of those methods I just mentioned is private and stored within your own private folder. However, you can share that data with any other CyVerse users that you would like. And again, this is one of the main reasons that people often come to CyVerse is because they're working on collaborations that may span many universities or even across many countries. And maintaining the data in a central place where all collaborators can access it can be very important. You can assign read, write, or ownership permission to any other CyVerse user. You can also create public links so that people without a CyVerse account can access your data. And you can even publish your data by putting the settings to public. Metadata capabilities is an important aspect of the CyVerse data store. You can add any custom attribute and value that you'd like for metadata, or you can use one of the set of templates that we've created. For example, if you want to publish your data with a digital object identifier, you would have to use the DOI request metadata template. We also have templates for NCBI for publishing to the NCB archives, and templates that correspond to the minimum information for a genome sequence or MIXIS standards. We're also happy to work with communities to develop new metadata templates for data types that groups of individuals are working with. For example, we've got a collaboration ongoing with the Legume Federation to develop some templates for that community's data folder. Data that's hosted within the CyVerse data store really spans the range from public to private. The bulk of users, as I said, come in with their default data allocation and have private data that's visible only to them or shared maybe with a few other collaborators. But sometimes projects go a little bit bigger, and you might set up a lab group or that's under a PI's allocation that has maybe 5 or 10 different people accessing it with different levels of permissions. Going on to the next step, we create community folders, and those are for groups of users that want to share data, want to make it available to their own community, but aren't quite ready to publish that data and make it public yet. For groups or individuals that are ready to make their data public, we can create public folders. These are useful for providing, for example, data sets that are used within particular applications in the data store, or for data sets that people want to share, but they're just not quite stable or permanent yet. When data is stable and permanent and ready to be published, we offer the Data Commons repository as well as services for publishing to several external repositories. Data that's published within the CyVerse Data Commons is visible through the web interface, datacommons.cyverse.org. This interface displays the structure of the data as well as metadata that's associated with it. This is a fairly new service, and we're working on the interface to make it more interactive and include searching, and etc. So once you've got your data within CyVerse, often you'll need to do something with it and analyze it. We, of course, provide many services for analyzing data as well. I'm going to talk today about just 2 of them, the discovery environment and atmosphere. The discovery environment, as I mentioned earlier, is a web-based platform. It doesn't really require any sort of sophisticated understanding of bioinformatics processes such as using the command line or writing code. So it really makes bioinformatics tools accessible to a broad community of users. There's a pane for managing your data where you can upload and download files and share your files or publish, or again, as I said, even publish your data. There's a pane for apps where you can launch analyses. There are hundreds of different bioinformatics applications available through the discovery environment right now. And if you don't see the one that you want, you can also integrate your own apps. You can use the apps that are there to build automated workflows. And you can even have private apps that you share with other individuals. The analyses pane allows you to monitor the jobs that you've launched and to find out to find the results that are produced. You can also relaunch a job using the same set of parameters so that you don't have to start from scratch filling it out again. And there's a detailed job history for everything that's executed within the discovery environment. This is really important for provenance and for tracking what happened during an analysis. So if you don't find an application that you want in the discovery environment and you want to bring in your own, we are using a technology called Docker that makes integrating new apps fairly straightforward. The process is broken down into 3 fairly simple steps. First, you have to prepare a Docker file that runs the application. Then you contact CyVerse staff through the discovery environment and request them to integrate your tool. They basically build a Docker image, which is a type of virtual appliance. And then that becomes available to you, the person who integrated it, so that you can design a user interface that will work within the discovery environment. Once you've tested your application and documented how to use it, you can make that app public so that anybody can use it. Atmosphere is another very popular platform within CyVerse. It's basically our cloud computing platform, sort of like using Amazon Web Services, only it's free for scientific research. You can go, once you have a CyVerse user account, you can go to user.cyverse.org and request access to Atmosphere. It's just a simple matter of requesting it. Then this is the page where you can go to get started. You can launch new instances, you can get help, you can change your settings, and you can use Atmosphere to create projects, etc. So once you're inside a particular project, there's a way to manage the instances within that project, which are essentially the virtual machines that you've got up and running. The images, which are the sort of bases from which you've built your instances. And a volume you can attach to an instance is a way that allows you to access all of the data that's in the CyVerse data store from within your instance. Once you've made an instance, you can install any software that you'd like there. And the nice thing is you can then share that with other users. So again, if you've got a group of collaborators working on analyses and you want everyone to be using the exact same configuration and set of analyses for analyzing data, you can create one atmosphere image for the whole group and then share it with all your collaborators. You can also request that instances be permanently imaged so that you can publish them, and then you can have an image that accompanies a publication so that others who are reading your publication can carry out the analyses using the exact same tools that you did. And so I'll just end here with this page. It has a number of different links. And if you're new to CyVerse, I highly recommend that you go to this final one, which is on our wiki, the wiki.cyverse.org, and it's the Getting Started with CyVerse page that will provide even more links for you to look at. Thank you for your time.